I'm totally disconnected from my soul, but I'm going to stay with you. Now it's like my soul is first. Even if this family member doesn't connect with me, it's fine. My soul is first. And we got in this social media where you're supposed to have 1,000+ friends in 24 hours a day. And that has to fall apart now because we're here now getting closer and closer to our soul. Now I'm realizing I forget what your question was.
What happens when we're putting things
on
a pedestal?
The pedestals of my friend's approval is gone. Right now, a lot of leaders are off pedestals. There's taking celebrities off pedestals, taking epoch pedestals when you find people in the files. This is very exciting to me. And even as a spiritual speaker who's had enormous events in huge theaters, I want to be off the pedestal. I don't, and because I'm on a pedestal at times, and then my audience is on a pedestal. We're looking at our views. Sometimes I still do it, but we're going, oh, your approval of me is on a pedestal. And there's no connection to myself. I'm just sitting here going, like, we're all on this thing and it creates pressure. And then when you're on a pedestal, you're like, I better be what they think I am versus what I am. And then you put someone on a pedestal and they better be what you think they are. And there's a great quote that the one that gets the credit gets the blame. And when you put all your focus on someone that they are the answer to your life, you will be so disappointed when you get every person that's on this planet is on this planet to grow. And as long as we're still alive, there's more growth. So every person that does the work and every person you worship and every person you think has giant mess still coming and is not perfect. And one of the things I try to offer through my events called Evolving Out Loud is that I'm a mess. And I'm backstage with many of those speakers that we think are the greatest in the world, and they're a mess. And I make mistakes and I do things wrong, and I've been humbled many times, and I'm embarrassed sometimes at who I am. And sometimes I'll sit with myself and go, I don't like myself. And that's good. That's healthy to just sit and be present. Not I don't like myself, now I'm gonna eat 1,000 donuts. Like, just sit with this don't like parts of myself and get present. And then sometimes I'll cry and that'll leave. And then I do like myself deeper. And we're all getting closer to God. And as long as you're alive, there's still more. And so putting yourself or someone else on a pedestal is all ego. And under it is our number one goal, in my belief, is to get closer to God every day. And if you got someone on a pedestal, you'll always be off one. And you'll always say, that person's closer and I'll never get there. It's just like, we're all equally doing the work. It doesn't matter if they're a Hay House author with 100 million books sold. They're a mess. We're all a mess. Yep. And how can you not be on this planet, right? And I'd rather people know that I'm not perfect and hang out with me. In the old days, I loved when they thought I was perfect, and it just was too impossible to contain and be like, sometimes I don't like myself. And that's freeing. My wife and I are doing Ember's her name, by the way. We're doing a relationship event. And a lot of times when people do events, especially like smaller group, we're working with 10 couples. They charge this enormous amount. I'm a New York Times bestselling author. I've done all these huge shows. I've had a crazy career. I could easily charge some giant number for this, right? When you do a relationship event for 10 couples, like no speakers, that would make it $50,000 per couple or whatever. And we started announcing it at a higher ticket item. And I noticed it was a pedestal-y number. And even if we could fill it, I was like, I don't know why I don't even want to do the event. And then I just felt why I don't want to do it, because I'm putting myself on a pedestal with how much I'm charging for it. So I said, what if we make it cost very little? So for 10 couples, we said, we'll make it $2,222 per couple. Oh my God, did I love that. All of a sudden, there's pressure off me. I don't have to be the star. I can be also in my mess. I would rather them come and see me as a person in the work who also has challenges in my relationship, and my wife does too. And we're not perfect, but man, if you can get the people that are going to work with you are not perfect and open to maybe 50% of what I take will be awesome versus it better be amazing. It better be $50,000 worth good. Now let's all bring our crap out and just collaborate as people versus I'm a speaker with all these credits. It's so nice. And we sold it out really quickly. Now there's a waiting list to do another one because we just make it affordable. Dude, we do 2-day wild events and I make them $20. And I'll have people that are in the achievement world, you should charge $10,000 for an event like this. I want to get it to as many people as possible. There's still even a profit at $20. I make it as expensive as possible and make hurdles for people. I just like going, everyone have it. That feels more like God energy. What then I'm number one energy. It's just like I just want to get my stuff out. How am I even saying it's me? It's channeled. Who am I to like channel what God says and then be like $20,000, please? It's stupid, right? Like my goal is to bring this energy through and make it as accessible as possible. And that's why I'm like, hey, at this price, I do not need to be on a pedestal. It's $20. I'm a mess. You'll love what's in it. I'm a total fuck up. $20. I can be a fuck up if it's $20.
Right. Probably even more relatable, right? I think when people see you on a pedestal, they think, well, I can never be that person. So your message doesn't actually channel through as deeply because people can't relate. When people see themselves in you, they can say, well, he did it. He overcame this. So can I. And I think this is the problem when you put anything on a pedestal, right?
Yeah.
About goals or dreams that we have or this vision that we want or this person that we want to be, and we put that on a pedestal, it seems so far out of reach. And in the small chance that you do achieve it, you have this expectation of how you should feel once you're there. And it's rarely the case, right? This is why there's so many people that are successful that are so miserable, because we expect to feel a certain way when we get to that point and reach a certain amount of money or a business or find someone, and it just never is the case. So I think that's one of the biggest problems of putting anything on a pedestal.
Eckhart Tolle says, and he might have been quoting someone else, but he says there's two ways to be not happy. One is to not get the thing you want, and the other is to get the thing you want. It's so true, man. Like, I'll never forget my first book. The goal had been New York Times bestselling book and I was maybe happy for about 40 seconds. And also it was weird because it became New York Times bestseller. It's called, I hope I screwed this up. We gave the book to the publisher to edit and they just published it. Like, in other words, it was my first draft. And it's so funny because the book is called I Hope I Screw This Up.
So right.
And the first 80 pages of the book are me writing, I don't even know what I'm doing. I just got a book deal and I don't know how to write a book. I said my vocabulary, I was told, was atrocious. And once I looked up what that meant, I got really worried and I wrote this book, and then the book's ideas that I'm writing, I'm a mess. And the book is supposed to be a mess the first 80 pages. And then it gets better and better and better. But it was really a mess and not ready. And the publisher literally took it and published it. And so we did screw it up. And I was like, it's a New York Times bestseller and it's not ready to be. And now I can embrace it's a mess. And that's the point of the book. But you really got to open your eyes to it. But it was so funny because I get that credit of truly New York Times bestselling author is a big deal. But I found the problem immediately because I'm not in my foundation. It's on a pedestal to get New York Times bestseller. So it's bigger than me. So when you get something that you think is bigger than what you are, you better not lose it. You better get it again. Because now if I put out a second book and it's not New York Times bestseller, now I'm finding lack. Isn't that weird? My second book, I think, is better. It wasn't a New York Times bestseller. The Illusion of Money is a better book. But when it didn't get New York Times bestseller, you're like, got this pressure that now you're a shitty author. Because the first one, like, your bar is it better be. And we're sitting here going, it's like when you finally get the love of your life, you have this new pressure, like, you're the love of my life. I better not lose you or I'm a piece of shit. It's like, I think you're bigger than what I am. This is why we need our foundation, that everything that you think is bigger than what you are is on a pedestal, and you're always going to be enslaved to, I better not lose it, or I better sustain it, or I better get it better. And you're going to always be in a rat race to your only illusion is this thing is bigger than you. And we got to go, no, I'm going to just get myself connected through meditation, following my soul, letting go of what doesn't align, to a foundation-based version of me that says it's normal for me to bring something that magical into my life. It's not, I can't believe it. Isn't it weird when you go, I can't believe it? You're really saying, I don't believe I'm worthy of this.
Right.
I can't believe I made $10 million because I'm only worth 20,000. Well, you should sabotage this in no time. I'm sure you'll spend all that money instantly because this isn't like you to do. So why don't we instead work on your foundation where it's not exciting that it came into your life? It's normal.
Joe Dispenza talks a lot about how you should try to imagine the things that you want to achieve and try to feel those emotions that you should feel when you get there now in the present moment, and not have that distinguished feeling of now, which is your piece of shit self, versus this grand, perfect being that you should feel when you achieve something. Like, feel that now and be that present moment. What are some other advice that you have for people to be able to ground themselves?
I would couple that. That's a great advice at one level. And then I would also offer sitting with just the now versus the vision of what you want to feel when you receive the thing. I find also just sitting with what's here will change things. You have feelings trying to come up. I feel lazy. I feel like a piece of crap. I feel they're trying to come up now. And what do we usually do is it comes up and then we flip through, or it comes up and then we eat or drink. It comes up and then what do I do? It's weird how a negative feeling comes almost immediately with a what do I do? If I tell you I'm feeling off, it's almost like I'm waiting for you to give me advice. Like, can't just sit with I'm feeling off.
We got to do something about it.
Right. Which represses it or stops it. If that negative feeling could not come accompanied by a solution, it would change. And if you sit for an hour and just go, I feel like shit, I feel lost, I feel sad. After a half an hour, those voices will start to be a little quieter and the space that you're listening from will be a little louder. Like you move from being the cloud that feels crappy to the sky that sees the cloud. And after a half an hour or so, it starts to be quieter. I'm proud that I've listened this long. I feel off here, but I know that that's passing because the first 10 minutes it passed. I see these feelings are not me. I must be the space that's seeing these feelings. I hope I'm doing it right. That wasn't me. I see it. I'm lost. You get to an hour and you're here. This to me is even more powerful than getting into the right state to receive the love of your life for $1 million. Now you're here.